Picture this. It's 2026. You walk into a Toyota showroom, and the base choice is no longer gas or hybrid. It's hybrid or plug-in hybrid, and the software in the dash is evolving like your phone. And then in the same breath, Toyota is also dropping a brand new compact Land Cruiser that's engineered to take hits, be repaired in pieces, and still crawl back out of the wilderness. That's the vibe of Toyota's 2026-2027 wave. Electrification everywhere, but still engineered like it's going to be used hard. Welcome back to Autopedia. Today we're going through the actual officially revealed new and updated Toyota models for 2026 and beyond that you asked for. And I'm not doing vague rumors. This is based on Toyota's own releases and official sites, with real specs and real engineering details. All right, let's start with the one that matters to the most people on Earth, the RAV4. The 2026 Toyota RAV4 is the 6th generation, and Toyota didn't just redesign it, they rewrote the strategy. In the US announcement, Toyota makes it crystal clear. For model year 2026, the RAV4 lineup becomes 100% electrified, meaning hybrid, HEV, or plug-in hybrid, PHEV only. No purely gas-only RAV4 anymore. And that one sentence explains basically everything else about the engineering choices you're about to see. Under the hood, the hybrid models move to Toyota's 5th-generation hybrid system, centered around a 2.5-liter engine, and Toyota finally expands drivetrain choice in a way a lot of owners will care about. Front-wheel drive hybrids are available on select grades, while electronic on-demand ADB remains available across more of the range. Power goes up too. Toyota quotes 226 net combined horsepower for hybrid FWD and 236 net combined horsepower for hybrid AWD. And it's not just numbers for bragging rights. Fuel economy climbs, with Toyota quoting up to a 44 mpg combined manufacturer estimate for the FWD hybrid configuration. Now step up to the plug-in hybrid side, and Toyota introduces its 6th-generation PHEV system in the RAV4. This is one of the most important technical changes for Toyota's mainstream lineup, because Toyota says the new PHEV powertrain gets a 23% increase in manufacturer-estimated all-electric range up to 52 miles, and it also gets a serious output jump to 324 net combined system horsepower, while still improving efficiency with a manufacturer-estimated 41 mpg combined rating for certain grades. In plain English, Toyota is pushing the PHEV to behave like two cars in one, an EV for daily life, and a powerful hybrid for everything else. And charging is finally treated like a first-class feature, not an afterthought. Toyota specifies that on certain PHEV grades, like the XSE and Woodland, the RAV4 gets an onboard AC charger, plus a CCS1 port with DC fast charging capability. Toyota even gives a target number, roughly 10% to 80% in about 30 minutes under ideal conditions. Meanwhile, other PHEV grades like the SE and GR Sport use a 7-kilowatt onboard charger with a J772 port for Level 1 and Level 2 charging. So Toyota is basically splitting the PHEV customer into two types. Home charger is enough versus I want this thing to quick charge like an EV. Chassis-wise, Toyota says the 6th-gen RAV4 gets added frame rigidity and new suspension components aimed at smoother control and better handling confidence. And it's not just a generic tuning job. Toyota is now dividing the RAV4 into 3 design personalities across multiple grades: a core design, a rugged design, and a sport design. That matters because it usually signals different bumpers, wheel tire setups, aero treatments, and sometimes even suspension tuning. And speaking of sporty, yes, Toyota did the thing, the first ever RAV4 GR Sport. This isn't just a badge package. Toyota describes it as developed in partnership with Toyota's Gazoo racing organization, and the GR Sport includes GR-tuned suspension and steering, plus functional aerodynamics, and it comes standard with the PHEV ADD powertrain. In other words, Toyota is positioning this as the most aggressive road-focused RAV4, built around the most powerful mainstream RAV4 powertrain. But the sleeper pick for a lot of buyers might be the new RAV4 Woodland grade. Toyota sets up as the outdoors-focused model with standard AWD and real utility hardware, all-terrain tires, a 2-inch tow hitch receiver, and importantly, the Woodland can be ordered as HEV or PHEV. Toyota even calls out the Woodland's capability numbers like 3,500 pounds towing on certain configurations and 8.5 inches ground clearance. plus integrated lighting in the front end depending on spec. That's Toyota basically saying, we heard you. You want hybrid efficiency, but you also want trail utility without jumping to a full-size SUV. Now, here's the part that's going to shape Toyota vehicles for the rest of this decade. Software. Toyota says the 2026 RAV4 launches Toyota Safety Sense 4.0 as standard, with updated detection capabilities for systems like pre-collision and lane tracing. But even bigger than that, Toyota says the RAV4 launches the Arene software-developed vehicle platform, created by Woven by Toyota, as the foundation for safety features and the multimedia system. That is Toyota telling you, officially, that modern Toyotas are going to be engineered like software platforms, meaning updates, new functions, and feature evolution can expand over the vehicle's life. On the infotainment side, Toyota says the RAV4 is also the first Toyota model with a new version of Toyota Audio Multimedia, featuring a faster voice assistant, a more customizable home menu, and the first application of onboard 5G connectivity through AT&T in the US market announcement. That's not a screen upgrade, that's connectivity, latency, and capability upgrade, especially for navigation, voice processing, cloud features, and future connected services. So if you zoom out, the 2026 RAV4 story is simple. Toyota made it electrified only, bumped hybrid power and efficiency, made the PHEV legitimately quick and more EV capable, and then layered in a new software backbone and higher-end charging hardware where it counts. Alright, now let's shift to the compact SUV that quietly sells like crazy in multiple markets, and for 2026 gets the kind of refresh that owners actually feel every day: the 2026 Toyota Corolla Cross facelift. Toyota's official US press release frames the 2026 Corolla Cross refresh as fresh style inside and out, and the engineering details back that up. First, the platform foundation stays consistent. The Corolla Cross is built on TNGA-C, which is Toyota's compact car architecture. This matters because it drives the more car-like handling feel versus a taller, truck-based layout. For 2026, Toyota goes after the two places that most affect real-world ownership: front-end aero and cooling design, and cabin technology and usability. Up front, Toyota gives the Corolla Cross two distinct front fascia treatments, depending on whether you buy the gas model or the hybrid. The hybrid gets a more modern, color-matched style, while the gas model leans into a wider, rugged grille look. It's a subtle move with a real effect. Toyota is visually separating efficiency spec from traditional spec, which also tends to help cooling packaging and airflow tuning. Inside, Toyota updates the center console for better usable space and adds a newly available 10.5-inch touchscreen on certain trims, plus either a 7-inch MIDI or an available 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster depending on grade. That's not just about bigger screens. The real upgrade is the cockpit information bandwidth, more room for driver assistance visualization, energy flow info on hybrids, and better navigation and media layout. Now, the hybrid tech is the headline for the Corolla Cross. Toyota specifies that the Corolla Cross Hybrid uses Toyota's 5th-generation hybrid system, and in the US release, Toyota states the hybrid grades come with standard electronic on-demand AWD and output of 196 net combined horsepower, plus a manufacturer-estimated 42 mpg combined rating. In other words, the Corolla Cross Hybrid is engineered to be the do-everything compact SUV: efficiency, traction, and usable power without stepping up a segment. And if you're watching from Europe, Toyota's European release adds a bunch of important real driving improvements that don't always show up in a spec sheet headline. Toyota highlights noise reduction work, new materials, and specific damping changes, plus tech like a standard 10.5-inch high-definition touchscreen with Toyota Smart Connect, and in many European markets, a 12.3-inch fully digital combimeter standard across grades. Toyota also introduces an ABUD-AI feature called Snow Extra Mode, intended to improve stability and control on snow-covered roads across more driving situations by using the rear motor to prevent wheel spin and maintain grip. That's not marketing fluff. That's a software traction strategy, using hybrid AWD architecture to manage stability under varying slip conditions. Europe also gets a more performance-styled twist. Toyota introduces a Corolla Cross GR Sport grade there, with changes like a lowered and tuned suspension, steering tuning, and a unique sport mode that adjusts throttle and deceleration behavior for a sharper feel. Again, that's Toyota turning mainstream hybrid hardware into different driving personalities. So the Corolla Cross facelift is Toyota doing what Toyota does best. Platform stays proven, hybrid system stays proven, but the interface, comfort, and traction logic gets smarter, and the styling and trim strategy gets cleaner. Now, before we hit the Land Cruiser FJ and Hilux in Part 2, we need to talk about the biggest new nameplate energy in Toyota's 2026-2027 lineup for many markets, the fully electric Toyota CHR Plus. This one is important because Toyota is positioning it as a core model in its European BEV SUV push. And unlike a lot of EVs that feel like an existing car with a battery, Toyota is explicit. The CHR Plus is built on Toyota's dedicated eTNGA battery electric philosophy with a unique body and interior. Toyota's official European announcement gives us real dimensions and packaging numbers. Total length is 4,520 millimeters with a long 2,750 millimeters wheelbase, and Toyota calls out a 900 millimeter front-to-rear couple distance. That's basically the cabin stretch that makes it feel class above inside. Cargo space is listed at 416 liters, and Toyota's design goal is clear: keep the coupe SUV silhouette without killing rear seat headroom. On powertrain, Toyota offers two batteries, 57.7 kilowatt-hours and 77 kilowatt gross capacity. The 57.7 is front-wheel drive only, while the 77 can be had in FWD or ADAR. Toyota states a maximum WLTP range target of up to 600 kilometers depending on grade and powertrain, pending homologation. And then the performance. The AWD version is expected to deliver 343 DIN horsepower, 252 kilowatt, with 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 5.2 seconds. That's quick, especially for a mainstream brand compact SUV. And the charging hardware is where Toyota makes a very European daily life decision. 11 kilowatt onboard AC charging as standard, 22 kilowatts on higher grade, and DC fast charging up to 150 kilowatts. Toyota also mentions battery preconditioning, plus a heat pump and heated features to support cold weather efficiency and charging performance. That's where we'll pause Part 1, because Part 2 is where things get spicy. Toyota's new compact Land Cruiser FJ with actual prototype specs and the all-new Hilux. Yes, including the first battery electric Hilux plus the hybrid 48-volt strategy. If you want Part 2, it's next. Same energy, even more hardware. Now we get into Toyota's two worlds at once strategy. On one side, a sleek EV SUV built for the city and the Autobahn, and on the other, body-on-frame machines designed to be used like tools, fixed, modified, and driven where roads are optional. Let's finish the Toyota CHR Plus first, because this is one of Toyota's most technically tell me where the industry is going vehicles. The CHR Plus is basically Toyota saying, we can do emotional design and real EV engineering in the mainstream segment. Toyota's European release emphasizes that the CHR Plus isn't just about straight-line numbers, it's tuned around driving feel. They specifically mention dedicated tuning for suspension and steering, plus gains in stability from increased body rigidity and a lower center of gravity compared to the regular Toyota CHR. That's the classic EV advantage, battery mass low in the floor, and Toyota is leaning into it rather than trying to hide it. Inside, Toyota makes the tech story simple and strong. A 14-inch multimedia display is standard across the lineup, and the navigation includes a dedicated EV routing function that plans routes around charging options based on state of charge and driving range. And for connected ownership, Toyota ties it to the My Toyota app, letting owners monitor charging status, charging time, range, and usage data. That matters because EV ownership is as much management as it is driving, and Toyota is building the ecosystem around it. Then there's warranty confidence, which Toyota highlights very directly. A battery care program concept built around annual health checks, with coverage extending up to long vehicle age and very high mileage thresholds depending on country terms. The takeaway is Toyota wants first-time EV buyers to feel like the battery isn't a mystery box. It's a managed component with a long-term plan. So the CHR Plus is Toyota's urban electric blade, eTNGA, 2 battery sizes, up to 600-kilometer LTP target, serious performance in ABOD, and charging hardware that finally matches what European buyers expect. 11 kilowatt AC standard, 22 kilowatt on higher grade, and 150 DC. Now, let's pivot hard into the opposite vibe. The new Land Cruiser FJ, officially unveiled by Toyota Motor Corporation, with a Japan launch planned for around mid-2026. This is important because Land Cruiser isn't just a model name, it's a design doctrine. Reliability, durability, off-road performance, and repairability in harsh conditions. Toyota positions the Land Cruiser lineup as multiple series: station wagon flagship, heavy-duty workhorse, and the core model. And the FJ is introduced to bring new value they literally describe as freedom and joy, while still being a true Land Cruiser at heart. Here's what makes the FJ genuinely interesting technically. Toyota gives prototype main specifications in the official release. We're talking real dimensions, real engine code, real drivetrain type. The prototype is listed at 575 mm long, 1,055 mm wide, and 1,960 mm tall, with a 580 mm wheelbase. Seating is 2-row, 5-passenger, and power comes from Toyota's 2TRFE 2.7-liter gasoline engine paired with a part-time 4WD system and a 6-super ECT transmission. Toyota quotes 120 kilowatt, 163 PS, and 246 Nm of torque for that prototype spec. That setup alone tells you what Toyota is targeting: robust, globally familiar hardware, something that can survive and be serviced, not something engineered to win a drag race. But Toyota also adds modern structure and packaging thinking. They state the FJ uses a platform refined in the IMV series to ensure ground clearance and approach angle, and they mention wheel articulation equivalent to the Land Cruiser 70 series, which is basically Toyota speaking the off-road crowd's language. Then Toyota drops a key maneuverability stat. The wheelbase is listed as 270 mm shorter than the 250 series, and they quote a minimum turning radius of 5.5 meters. That's huge for real off-road use: tight switchbacks, forest tracks, city parking, everything. And then, repairability and customization. Toyota says the front and rear corner bumpers are removable, segmented types, so if you damage a corner, you replace the damaged segment instead of the whole bumper. That's an "I actually use my truck" feature, not a brochure feature. They also talk about options like round headlights reminiscent of previous Land Cruisers, MOLLE panels for attaching outdoor equipment, and more rugged functional accessories rolling out during the model life, depending on region. Safety-wise, Toyota confirms it gets Toyota Safety Sense, including pre-collision safety functions, and the interior is described with a horizontal instrument panel and a cockpit layout designed for quick recognition of vehicle attitude. Again, that's Toyota thinking about uneven terrain, not just highway cruising. So the Land Cruiser FJ is Toyota bringing back compact, boxy, authentic SUV energy, but with specific engineering touches: compact wheelbase, part-time 4WD, proven gasoline hardware, modular bumpers, and real dimensions you can plan around. Now time for the workhorse, and arguably the most globally important Toyota truck, the Toyota Hilux. And yes, Toyota has officially announced an all-new Hilux, 9th generation, and it's one of Toyota's boldest multi-path launches ever. Toyota Europe's official announcement calls out something massive. The all-new Hilux lineup is aligned with Toyota's multi-path philosophy, meaning multiple powertrains depending on market and use case. And in that strategy, Toyota confirms the first battery electric Hilux. The Hilux Hybrid 48 volts is the expected volume seller for Western Europe. Continued diesel and petrol options for certain Eastern markets, and confirmation of a hydrogen fuel cell Hilux planned for 2028. Let's start with the EV Hilux, because this is historic. Toyota states the battery electric Hilux powertrain uses a 59.2 kilowatt-hours lithium-ion battery, and it drives through front and rear e-axles for permanent all-wheel drive. Toyota quotes torque figures too: 205 Nm at the front and 268.6 Nm at the rear. And Toyota provides tentative pre-homologation utility numbers: approximately 715 kilograms payload, 600 kilograms towing capacity, and a WLTP driving range of approximately 240 kilometers. Toyota also states they're targeting best-in-class charging capabilities to minimize downtime, though without locking a public number in that announcement. Now, before someone in the comments screams, "That range is small," remember what Toyota is doing. This isn't an electric lifestyle truck built to flex on social media. Toyota is targeting fleets, trades, municipalities, and predictable routes, where local zero-emissions operation matters more than a 600-kilometer road trip fantasy. This is a tool, electrified. Next, the Hilux Hybrid 48 volts. Toyota says the hybrid 48-volt system was introduced on the current Hilux in 2025 and will progress to become a major seller in Europe in the new generation, with production for the new generation commencing in spring 2026. Toyota describes the system as a 48-volt lithium-ion battery, an electric motor generator, and a DC-DC converter, supporting a 2.8-liter engine for smoother, quieter, more refined performance on-road and off-road. And here's the big thing. Toyota explicitly says capability stays intact. They keep payload up to 1 ton and braked towing up to 3,500 kilograms, and they even explain how the hybrid hardware is packaged to preserve off-road credibility, like positioning components to maintain the Hilux's 700mm weighting capability. Toyota also calls out multi-terrain select to adapt performance across surfaces, plus a multi-terrain monitor availability to help place the vehicle in challenging conditions. Now let's talk structure and cabin changes, because Toyota didn't just swap powertrains, they modernized the user experience. Toyota states that with the new generation, Hilux moves to one body style, double cab, aligning with customer preference. They also say electric power steering is introduced in Western Europe, with benefits like easier maneuverability and reduced kickback over uneven ground. Inside, Toyota describes a major jump in sensory quality, influenced by the new Land Cruiser, with a new horizontal console design and a 12.3-inch customizable driver display, plus a central multimedia touchscreen up to 12.3 inches. They also mention modern connectivity, wireless charging, new rear USB ports, and connected services through the My Toyota app, plus fleet management visibility for up to 10 vehicles, including location, fuel level, EV charging status, and driving analytics. So the 9th-gen Hilux story is basically this. Toyota is making a global icon future-proof by offering powertrains that match infrastructure reality. Battery electric, where it makes sense. 48-volt electrification, where it preserves hard capability. Combustion, where it's still required. And hydrogen as an announced next step. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit like so YouTube knows this kind of content matters. Subscribe to Autopedia for detailed, no-nonsense breakdowns of the newest cars and future tech, and drop a comment below telling me which Toyota you're most excited about. More in-depth automotive content is coming, so stay tuned.